All right. Welcome to Pan-African Perspectives, your weekly or bi-weekly live stream where we talk about all things Africa. Apologies for the late start today. Want to give some time for people to get on, but we're about to talk about how I am buying land in Sierra Leone for an acre of land in Sierra Leone for $1,600. And this is my first public discussion as a acquisition of land is happening in real time, because I want to let you guys know that we do have our membership site where we talk about this stuff in detail. People have been asking me if I'm going to do a subscription service, what am I going to be talking about? And this is it. We're going to go through the step-by-step process of how I'm acquiring this land. I'll give you guys a little bit here because this is free and open to the public. But I want to walk you guys through the story of how the land came to me and how I continue to get these kinds of deals coming to me, and I want to bring it to the audience. And so, so that's what today's conversation is going to be. Feel free to ask any questions. I'm more than happy to answer those questions for you. Yes, definitely let me know where you're watching from. I see Maposa, it is checking in from Johannesburg, South Africa. Where else is everybody watching from? Let us know where you're watching from, and we're going to get into today's topic of the land in Sierra Leone. 1 acre of land for $1,600. Unheard of for that amount of land. And I'm going to talk to you about how I got it, how I'm going to acquire it, and then how you can too. But I'm really talking more about what we are offering with the deal room, and that's what you're seeing on the thumbnail today. So you saw the Africa deal room. This is where we evaluate deals. People can bring their deals to us. We can evaluate them. I will bring my deals to you all, and you guys can evaluate them and let me know what you're thinking. But this acquisition is happening. And so I want to walk you through it. I want to walk you through how it came to me, and we'll talk specifics and details more in the deal room. So if you guys want to become a part of the where you can see the deal room, just go to insights.authenticafrican.com, insights.authenticafrican.com. And once you fill out that information, the next page will invite you to join the community. And while you're in the community, you will get access to the details around deals like this. So we got Lydia, who is checking in from DC. Estrelita Lisa is checking in from Fort Worth, Texas. Okay. Who else do we have? A couple people said where they're watching from. All right, so let's get into it. I started this live stream 30 minutes late. It has been a very busy day. For those of you who don't know, I do work a full-time job. My name is Joe Hatagwa. I am the founder of Authentic African Media, and we help people visit, move, and invest on the continent of Africa. We do these live streams weekly where we want to make sure you are aware of the deals that are happening, people who have businesses, and people who are planning and have already moved to the continent to tell their stories. And we also talk about the news of the day on the continent, so you're aware of what's happening before you decide to make the move. So today, I'm going to tell you how I got access to this land, very much like how I got access to the previous bit of land that I had access to. So back in 2023, it came to my attention that there were some folks, a family, that was selling their land. And through that, there was a negotiation. It started with 3 acres of land. It ended up in 5 acres of land for about $6,000. So that's a little over $1,200 per acre. I want to tell you that right now that each acre is worth more than I spent for all 5 acres altogether. And that's just 3 years later. 3 years later. So if you understand how the potential for the market to increase can be, that is something that is a high likelihood. I don't make any guarantees because, as you know, investments take risk and everybody has to decide what they want to do. A mentor of mine back in 2021 and 2022 used to say to me all the time before he passed that you should buy as much land as possible. You should be broke in your 30s and just buy land. And he was somebody who bought many acres of land in right outside of Accra, Ghana. And anytime he needed cash, these couple of years later, he actually started selling pieces of land whenever he needed cash. Whenever he needed to make a purchase or an acquisition, he would just sell a piece of that land. And I think it's 100% the way to go if you're not exactly sure what you're going to do on the continent as far as investments are concerned. Land banking is what it's called. It's called land banking. And land banking just means that you do not actually do anything on the land. You just buy the land, and it becomes, you just wait till it accrues in value over time, and then you sell it. Sorry, let me just say. And it's one of the things that I think were probably where I think it was probably the smartest thing I could have ever done was buy that land. And now, you know, obviously it's worth basically 6 times what it was purchased for, right? So 6 times 5 is 30 plus thousand. I bought it for $6,000. It's worth over $30,000 3 years later. Now, is that a huge return? Maybe not, but would you put $6,000 down now to get 30,000? Well, 6 times 5 is that 30? Yeah, 6 times 6 is 36. 6 times 5 is 30. Yeah. So would you put $6,000 down now for 3 years later to end up with $30,000 in potential value with the same plot of land that you purchased? You let me know. And so that is what the deal room is meant to give you guys insight into. We'll talk about all kinds of other types of investments as well. But so let me walk you through the story. So that's what happened in 2023. So now this same person came to me and said to me, I was talking to someone, and we know them very, very well. They're family friends, and you know, there's a very close family relationship. And they mentioned that they needed cash right now. They wanted to move quickly, and they wanted to sell their land. So for me, right, I put the proper steps in place, which I will tell you in the deal committee background. Well, I'll give you a little bit of it now. I don't pay everything up front. I have steps that I follow, and each stage along the way, I give another tranche of money. But the first thing that has to happen is check the land registry to see if the land even is registered already. That's step 1. Step 2, because it's in the outer provinces, you have to check section chief, town chief, paramount chief to see if they agree. The other thing is you have to check to see, the third thing is you have to check to see if more than one family member can actually make a decision on that land, or if the sole person who I'm talking to right now can make the decision. There's many more other checks that I would recommend you do, but those are like high-level checks that you should be thinking about if you're buying land outside of the capital city in Sierra Leone in particular. You also got to see the land, of course, which, you know, my person went and saw the land. And so when you think about this, it sounds too good to be true, and it is too good to be true. The good news is, for me, the too good to be true instances that I invest in, I have systems in place on the ground to ensure that it really is just a situation of them needing the cash ASAP, and they're willing to sell a much larger piece of land for cheap. In the same way that my mentor, who had a bunch of land, would sell pieces of his land when he needed cash, it's the same thing. You could sell it at market value or below market value, which in this case, they're selling it at below market value. Where is it exactly? It's right outside the capital city of Bo, right outside of it. I think I can show you guys something. I got to give you a visual, right? You guys want to see a visual of this? Give me a thumbs up if you want to see a visual of this land. Let me share with you guys a quick visual of the land, what it looks like, so you get an idea of. Now, I'm not showing you the exact land. I'm just going to show you what region it is in, because I cannot show you the specifics right now. That's what gets shown in the deal room. So, let's see. Let's just change the location. Okay, here we go. All right, so let me zoom out a little bit so you guys can see this. I want to show you guys this land, this piece of land, and where it is. So, if you guys know Sierra Leone, there's the second city, which is the second largest city, called Bo, second largest city outside of the capital city, Freetown. And it's known for a number of different things, but one of the things that I like the most about it, it's known for the fact that the people that are in power right now are building there. And so this is the clock tower in Bo. It's like this, it's like a central point in Bo. Here in this area is where the land is being purchased. So it is about a 15-minute drive max. It's not even 15 minutes. I know I said 15 minutes, but it's not even 15 minutes. It's actually much shorter than that. And that's the cool part about it. It is like 10 minutes away. Let me just refresh it so you get an idea. Here we go. So it's about, it says 15 minutes here for this ride here, but it hasn't even reached all the way down here, because from what I know, just by the person who's going there, went there to show me, there's a little bit of a bridge here, and it's before you reach the bridge, but it's further up. So it's in this area here. Now, why does this matter, right? Let's zoom out a little bit. When you're thinking about going to Liberia, depending on where you're going, right? This landmass right here is Liberia. So many people from Bo drive down this road to go to Liberia. This is one of a couple of paths that people take when they're coming from this location. So it is on the way to another country and another land border, and it is on a major highway. So it is literally right off this highway here. We're not talking about 2 miles in, 3 miles in. We're talking about right off the major highway. So it is like less than 100 yards from this road here that you're taking to come in and out. And you see there's a lot of things on the way. Mosque or masjid, sorry. Lodges. There are a couple of different things that you can pass on the way, and there aren't many roads in and out, right? So you got this road going this way from Bo Stadium that way. You have this road coming down this way. You have this road going this way. And so it is like right outside of Bo. And really one of those areas where, if you're thinking about where to buy, you buy right outside of a major city, which is what I always tell people, right? So, the price is right. The location is right. The paperwork is going to be all pretty easy to establish since we have some family relations. And so why am I telling you guys about this, right? I'm not here to tell you that, oh, I'm buying land, because who cares? Really, it's more about the fact that you can buy land and how you should be looking at this. I think that's what's the most important part, right? Is me wanting to share with you all how you can get this land. This is a conversation I've had with like 5 people this weekend, letting people know, like, look, You can buy land right now, because people are regretting not buying the land that I bought in 2023. And I mentioned it to you guys a ton of time on the live stream. So Jada, I'm talking to you if you're interested, because I know she's someone who's talked about this before, and others. If you guys are interested in buying land and doing land banking, if you already have Sierra Leone citizenship, it's simple. It's very simple and very easy. So those of you who've gone through the process of getting your citizenship in Sierra Leone and you're interested in buying this land, definitely sign up for the community. If those of you who are watching and have not gotten your Sierra Leone citizenship, there is another process that you can go to in order to acquire some of this land, and I can talk you through that. But there we go. Gus Motorsport says it's all about being strategic. 100%. It's all about being strategic. Does anybody have any questions? Let me know if you got questions in the chat. Lydia gave me the thumbs up. Nice. Bria Arman is watching from South Sudan. Wow. Okay. Mobin Med says this modus operandi works very well in Senegal. Yeah, what he's saying is buying right outside of a capital city, it matters. So this is the thing. If you guys have been seeing my posts, I've been saying this all the time. You buy outside of a major city, right outside of a major city. Why? One, because that city expands. Everybody moves into a city. The city gets crowded. The city expands, which means that all of the surrounding areas, the property value starts to go up because the law of supply and demand, right? There's more and more demand for the supply of land, which means the supply goes up in price. So that's always one. Buy right outside of a major city. If I'm you, I buy outside of a city that is not the capital city. So you could buy right outside the capital city, which I've also done, right? My first acquisition of land on the continent of Africa was right in the capital city, or like right outside the capital city of Freetown. It's like right at the outskirts of the capital city, near the American embassy, right? Like right near the American embassy, within like 10 minutes of the American embassy. So I made that purchase and that acquisition as my first purchase of land. I just so happened to be able to buy it from family, so it worked out for me. But I knew that that's where I wanted to buy land, if not in the capital city, right outside of it. So then my next acquisition of land was in the next biggest city in Sierra Leone, right outside the capital city, same thing. And the reason for that was because, as I said, cities expand. The land that I purchased right outside the capital city, you wouldn't believe what I got it for, which, by the way, I paid a little bit more than what I wanted to pay. But in 2019, that land was acquired for under $15,000. Right now, it's been appraised, and I've been told it's worth upwards of $70,000 to $80,000. Now, that's because I built a property on it, which put a lot of money into it, so that goes into some of the appraisal. But just think about the exponential growth of the value of that land. Now, you cannot realize that value unless you sell it, but it's an asset that's gone up in value and that you can sell at some point in time in the future if you so choose. So this is what we're going to be talking in the Africa Deal Committees, right? So as I mentioned, you can go to insights.authenticafrican.com. I think you can also go to realestate.authenticafrican.com. Hold on one second. realestate.authenticafrican.com. No, it's not realestate.authenticafrican.com. What is it? Home. Yes, it's home.authenticafrican.com. So here's what I'm going to say. So let me just share my screen on that one. For those of you who are joining, a few people just joined. So if you guys are looking to potentially buy land, I think what I recommend you do is you go here. You go to home.authenticafrican.com. Sorry, this should be home. Home.authenticafrican.com. This is where you're going to go. And once you fill out the form, collective registration. Sorry, that site doesn't work anymore. You fill out the form, and then it takes you to the collective registration. Here, you click join the movement. You determine how you want to be involved, right? At what level. And at any of these levels that you join, you now get access to deals like this in much more specificity. We'll be doing members only live streams and webinars, so we can talk about when you have a deal like this. I mean, 1 acre of land for $1,600 on a main road that people use to drive to go to Liberia, right outside of a capital, right outside of the next biggest city, where, by the way, the current administration and government, many of those folks are building houses and also increasing the property value in that area. So again, you're gonna go to home.authenticafrican.com, and you're gonna fill out that form. So home.authenticafrican.com. You're gonna fill out this form. You're gonna click here. You can decide if you want to be in, any of the other lists here. You can click on one of those other checklists. When you click on email me the guide, the next page that'll pop up is the collective registration page. On the collective registration page, you just go through and hit join the movement. You pick which way you want to purchase, and you do your add to cart, and you make the purchase. You go to checkout, boom. It's pretty simple. And so that's how you get into the collective. And this collective, again, is where we were sending more and more of this information. So Jada said, this is the video I've been waiting for, Joe. I know, Jada. This is why I told you. In due time, it was coming. In due time, in due time. So now, obviously, this is a public-facing video. So I'm not giving all the details that I would be giving under the registration for those of you who are in a collective. And let me say that shout out to Jada, because Jada has been supporting the channel for a while. Her and I have had a couple of conversations. She's already become a member. She is actually our inaugural member. She was the first member to join the collective. And so Jada obviously has access to information that other people is going to have access to information that other people won't, unless you go to collectiveregistration.authenticafrican.com. You can go there first, or you can just go to home.authenticafrican.com, fill out the form there first, and then go there. Maureen is asking, what am I selling? Not selling anything. I'm sharing information on land that is available that I have gotten access to, that I'm going to let other people get information and insight into. Let me see if there's any other questions from anybody on Instagram. I don't want to neglect you guys on IG. Let's see. Anybody else had any comments, concerns, thoughts? Okay, any other questions from you guys on this land for sale? So again, $1,600 per acre right now. I can probably negotiate a better deal if I buy more acres. But for those of you who are interested in hearing more about this, go to home.authenticafrican.com, which is here on your screen right now. So you just type in home.authenticafrican.com. Let me, it's not going to be clickable, but let me at least put it in the chat. So you go to home.authenticafrican.com, and that'll take you to this page here, Confidently Invest in Africa's Next Decade of Growth. Fill out the form. Once you get to that form, you'll be taken to the collective registration.authenticafrican.com. If you want to go straight to the registration and you want to register and you don't want to fill out the form before, then you want to go here. So Jada, Jada had the question, Do I have land for sale? You missed the beginning. I got it. You just joined. You had missed the beginning. Got it. So no, I do not have land for sale. What I do have is access to land for sale, though. So I had shared that. Let me see if I can pull that back up. So for those of you who just joined, I know that there are more people joining right now, and people are asking, what is he talking about? So for those of you who just joined, let me do this. Let me copy this link, add it. I was mentioning that for those of you who are interested in buying land, this is land right outside of the second city, which is, we call Bo the second city. That's its like nickname. Outside of Sierra Leone. This is right outside of Bo. It is within 15 minutes of the center of Bo. So like in terms of the outskirts, it's like 5 minutes from the edge of Bo. And this is somewhere that if you look at the map, I'm gonna zoom out for everybody who just joined. Sorry for those of you who've been online. This is the Liberia border right here. What you're seeing here is the Liberia border. Many people from Bo take this road and pass this on the way to the Liberia border. Those people who go from the Liberia border and come back this way, so it's a major road for people coming from Bo. Some people go this way. Some people go this way, and the land is there. And so for those people who are in the collective, who've joined the collective registration, you will get a chance to see exactly where the land is. Yes, and to answer that question, $1,600 an acre, 40,000 leones per acre as we speak right now. I just made my first payment today to the family. And we are going through the process of doing my own survey of the land. Once we do the survey, we got some steps that we follow. Then we got some steps that we follow before we get to the end. But in general, you know, in a place like this, you need to just make sure who you're buying from is the sole decision maker, or you have buy-in from them and the other decision makers. You need to cross-reference that in two places. The Lands Commission, and you also have to cross-reference that with the chiefs, section chief, town chief, paramount chief. Need to help you determine the truth and validity of that person being able to sell the land to you. So that's all things that I do, which is what I've had to do once in Sierra Leone so far, because I bought 5 acres of land in 2023 along with other family members. So that's one. And then two, once you do that, then of course you have to go to the Lands Ministry or Lands Commission and actually turn that survey with the signatures into a conveyance. So now it's registered under you as the owner with the Lands Commission. So that, my friends, is the process. If you haven't already and you find it interesting, head on over to home.authenticafrican.com or collectiveregistration.authenticafrican.com. I have put it in the live chat. Definitely something worth taking a look at. If you guys are new to the live stream and haven't gotten a chance to watch it from the beginning, go back to the beginning where I talked about the numbers of the on the land that I've purchased already and how much it's gone up in value. So I'm definitely a big proponent of buying land and banking the land banking, they call it, meaning you can just sit on the land and if you know, not every country, not every municipality has the ability for you to buy and just sit on land. Depends on who you're buying from. I tend to buy in places that allow me to do that because I have so many things going on right now. I do not have the capability to start a process in another project somewhere else. So I'm just land banking and protecting it and sitting on it. And how I protect it is something that I will tell you guys in the collective registration. So I am going to be sending out an email to everybody who has signed up for the collective registration. You guys will get an email about a webinar that I'll be doing where I'll walk you through that process of how you get access to this land. ASAP, because of course the pricing I have is unusual, for sure. So sorry, I always get calls while I'm on the live stream. So Mike says, as a non-citizen, I want to acquire land in Sierra Leone. Mike, I can talk you through that process. You do have to go through a consulting session with me so that I can walk you through that. It is not as straightforward if you're not a citizen. I will tell you that. If you're not a citizen of Sierra Leone, you do have to go through a process. So I do want to make sure you're aware of that. There is a process. It's not as easy. Sorry, I'm getting another phone call again, which I don't know why, because I'm in the middle of something. Okay, so Jada says, have you bought land from these people before? No, I have not, but I have a direct connection to these people and connection to the chief. So I got my things in place, but Jada will definitely tell you how and why I'm so confident in this process, as I was with the land I bought in 2023. That same process is the same process I'm following here. So I was very confident in that land acquisition, and I'm just as confident in this one as well. So listen, but investments are risks, right? So just make sure that everybody's aware that anything can happen. But I do want to put that out there because I am not a financial advisor. But yeah, that is what I'm doing. I'm putting my money where my mouth is, and that's why I'm telling people about it. Because if I wasn't buying it, I'd still tell you about it. Probably wouldn't be as adamant about why you should and should do it while I'm doing it so quickly. But yeah, I'm definitely doing it. But yeah, Jade, I've already made my first payment today. So yeah, but I'll keep people posted on the overall like high level process, of like where we're at and how far it's gone, so that you guys can be aware. All right, cool. So look, we are at time. I have to run. Unfortunately, duty calls, as you heard, the phone was ringing. So Jada, let's communicate via WhatsApp so that because you don't have to make a payment right now. But yeah, if you want to, I can talk you through that process. Let's just talk on let's talk offline. For those of you who are just joining, go back and watch from the beginning. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share this with anybody you know who has a couple $1,000, wants to buy land. I want to make sure that they're aware of this, especially if you know anybody who's a citizen of Sierra Leone. If they're not a citizen, separate process. They're going to have to set up a consultation. All right. With that, thanks for watching. See you guys all on the next video. Bye, guys.